Hey guys, welcome to the Peter Stands Lizzie YouTube channel. As you can tell from the name of my channel, I am a huge fan of Lizzie Mcguire, and I'm so excited to be able to create my first ever video essay series about this iconic and unforgettable show. Last week, I released part 1 of my retrospective review of Season 1. In this video, I will be covering 3 different areas, which are Number 1. Supporting cast character analysis. Number 2. My favorite and least favorite episodes. And Number 3. The things I wanted to see more from this season. And finally, at the end, I will close everything off with my overall thoughts of the entire first season. So without further ado, here is part 2 of my review of Season 1 of Lizzie Mcguire. Kate, as we all know, is portrayed to be Lizzie's ultimate frenemy. They were best friends in elementary school, and ever since middle school started, Kate changed for the worst, and they were no longer close with one another. Throughout Season 1, Kate is mostly known for being the snooty, popular cheerleader who has a disdain for anything and everything that has to do with Lizzie and her friends. But she did get her fair share of karma along the way.
Finally, there's a reason for Matt's existence. Oh, come on, let's get out of here.
Okay, that may have been a little overboard. And when Kate's not being mean to someone, she can go the opposite and be insincerely nice to other people just to get what she wants. Both Kate and Lizzie do like to compare themselves to each other. When Lizzie is shown to be good at rhythmic gymnastics, Kate became jealous of her and even tried to sabotage her routine. And when Lizzie finds out that Kate gets paid for babysitting, Lizzie gets jealous of her and tells her mom that she should be allowed to babysit too. The episode Lizzie and Kate's Excellent Adventure marks the turning point of their relationship because in this episode, they are forced to work together for a social studies project, and through spending time together, they address the big elephant in the room, which is why they suddenly stopped being friends. But all I could gather from their conversation was that Kate had made new friends when she was away at camp, and that's really it. I really want to know what actually happened in that camp. Since that episode, we got to see a new side to Kate, one that actually cares about Lizzie, but my guess is because of the new status she has built for herself at school, it might be too difficult and complicated for them to be friends again, which is absolutely ridiculous. Although they have gone back to publicly disliking each other, we will continue to see them helping each other out in Season 2 and in the movie. I actually wasn't too fond of Ethan at first because he was initially portrayed to be a little arrogant. But I am very glad that his character had become a lot more likable as the season went on, despite dropping some IQ points along the way. In terms of Lizzie, Miranda, and every girl's obsession over him, I don't really get it. Especially Lizzie, because every time he shows up, she becomes a nervous wreck and can barely form proper sentences around him. And it's not because I don't think he's attractive or a cool person to be around, he just doesn't seem to pay them any mind, and that's a major deal breaker for me. Like, why would I want to fawn over someone who doesn't really like me in that way? But all in all, I do like his character because he is shown to be generally friendly towards everyone and supportive of others despite his lack of intelligence and naivety. He also earns extra points for me for being fond of Matt, which of course makes Lizzie go crazy. Lastly, I would like to add that in the episode Sibling Bonds, it was revealed by him that his family struggled financially, as his dad was out of a job for 2 years when he was little. I wish the show had explored more of his personal history. What people tend to not remember about Larry was that he is first mentioned on the show as the guy who picked his nose and ate his boogers. Yeah, that's right. That's how we got to know him before actually seeing him on screen. Anyways, Larry is portrayed as the stereotypical science geek who has a fierce competitive rivalry with Gordo and a cute, albeit slightly weird crush on Miranda. I actually felt like he was portrayed to be the villain of the series, similar to Kate, but as time went on throughout the season, we got to know him more in his dedicated episode, Scarlet Larry. In this episode, he goes on a date with Lizzie, and she finds out that he's actually a very sweet guy, with a strong sense of knowing who he is and what he wants in life. And this episode also shows Lizzie in a different light, because she was actually nice to him unlike everyone else in school, and didn't want to hurt his feelings by telling him she doesn't like him in that way. In many ways, Larry is pretty similar to Gordo, only a little bit weirder. But I just find it a little bit tiring to see how badly he gets treated or talked about by everyone else, in particular by Kate and Miranda. Although, Miranda did defend him in this one instance.
Great! I couldn't write anything better.
Let's move on. Well, I think you're a little hard to touch. I would even go mean. I was just giving Sam confidence.
Luckily, it was shown a few times throughout the season that he indeed has his own group of friends, in particular, the members of the dwarf tribe in Gordo and the Dwarfs, which includes Veruca Albano, who we've seen appear here and there throughout the series. Lanny is an okay character. At first, the idea of him not talking at all, and only being able to communicate with Matt telepathically, was pretty cute and silly, but this gag got a little bit tiring after a while. Fortunately, he doesn't appear in many episodes, although I do like the idea of the show having a character like him. We also don't see much of Oscar in Season 1. He seems like a sweet kid, but he had the least amount of screen time compared to all of Matt's other friends. So I can't really form much of an opinion about him. And do we even know what Oscar's surname is? Melina was first introduced towards the end of Season 1, in the episode The Untitled Stan Jensen Project, but she certainly made a huge impression on me. However, I didn't really like her this season because she was really bossy towards Matt and always getting him into trouble. But I know Matt likes being bossed around by her, so I wasn't too upset with her character. They seem to have this weird dynamic where one likes to play a prank on the other and vice versa. And if you base this on 5th grade standards, it means they like each other. But as far as I can remember from Season 2, her character really picks up steam there and became a lot more likable as well. In no particular order, here are my favorite episodes from Season 1. Pool Party, the quintessential Lizzie Mcguire episode. Between a rock and a bra place, we got iconic moments like I Want a Bra, and moments from Matt's martial arts film. In fact, almost the entire cast just did a table read of this episode on Hillary's Instagram. Misadventures of Babysitting. Lizzie proves to her parents that she can be a responsible person. Lizzie's Nightmare. It was a very entertaining episode, with an over-the-top plot that was highly entertaining and actually works for me for some reason. Sibling Bonds. One of the rare occasions where we see Lizzie and Matt getting along and having each other's back. Facts of Life. They made an episode that centers around a factathlon, which sounds boring, be really entertaining. Scarlet Larry. Here, Lizzie treated Larry like an actual human being as opposed to the gross weirdo he was made out to be in previous episodes, and actually gave him a chance by going on the date with him in public. Lizzie and Kate's excellent adventure. We finally get to see Lizzie and Kate getting along well. Gordo's Bar Mitzvah. It shows Gordo in a new light that we are able to relate to much more than ever before. As for my least favorite episodes, I have 3. Number 1, Batgirl Mcguire. I just didn't care about Angel Lieberman, and she was featured a lot in this episode. Not to mention that there wasn't any redemption to her character at all. Thank goodness this was her only episode appearance. Number 2, here comes Aaron Carter. I know what you're thinking, why did I choose this episode as my least favorite? But that whole kissing scene between Lizzie and Aaron was completely unrealistic. You don't just meet your idol crush and get to kiss him in the lips 5 seconds later. I did some research on Aaron's one-off appearance on the show, and I found out that one of the writers of the episode, Nina Borgel, actually went to Aaron's 13th birthday party in the hopes to bring him onto the show, which of course for her is mission accomplished. Number 3, Gordo and the Dwarfs. I wasn't really invested in the main plot involving Gordo becoming obsessed with the Dwarf Lord game, and I actually felt the story structure was too similar to Batgirl Mcguire. Lizzie and Kate's falling out. I touched on this briefly in Kate's part, but I really want to know what happened that summer before middle school started. Kate and Claire's friendship. Despite being the so-called mean girls of the school, they seem to be very close to one another. Kate even shared her secret of being 1 year older than everybody else in the episode Gordo's video. And Lizzie didn't even know about this fact despite being best friends with Kate in elementary school. But if memory serves me well, we will get to see their relationship being put to the test in Season 2 since it was already hinted to us that Claire is worse than Kate. Gordo and Miranda's friendship. Their interactions are usually limited to talking about Lizzie or other trivial stuff. I wish we could have seen more of their friendship, but we have seen in episodes like Gordo and the Girl that they do care about one another. And in the episode Lizzie Strikes Out, the two of them were mostly together because Miranda wanted to help Gordo conquer his deep-rooted fear of bowling. So, there were some sweet moments between the two, but I wanted more. Gordo having guy friends. This was apparent in the episode Lizzie's Nightmare, where Lizzie is seen freaking out with Miranda about having a lunch date with Ethan, and Gordo just couldn't stand to hear his friends talk about Ethan or anything pertaining to cute boys. It may be due to him being, and you know how I hate this word, jealous, but I really wish Gordo had at least one close guy friend to hang out with. At one point in the courtship of Miranda Sanchez, I actually thought he was about to make new guy friends at school, but no, he hangs out with Matt for the entirety of the episode. What's up with that? Even Lizzie finds that creepy. More of the teachers. I actually thought that Mr. Dig, Coach Kelly, and Mr. Pettis were cool characters to have around, and I wanted to know more about them and their backstories. I mean, all 3 of them have really interesting quirks. I was even fans of Miranda's parents actually. Daniela and Eduardo Sanchez, they seem like such easygoing but interesting characters for the short time we got to see them. Season 1 did a solid job in setting up the defining personality traits of each of the characters. As a result, I know what each character likes and dislikes are, as well as their quote-unquote strengths and weaknesses. But as I have said just now, I wish we were given more backstory for a few specific characters and relationships. Hopefully, Season 2 will deliver more on this. In conclusion, Lizzie Mcguire holds a special place in my heart, and I've built so many memories from watching and discussing about this show with my family and friends growing up. Even now, having started an Instagram account, a Tumblr, and now a YouTube channel, it's incredible being able to interact with other fans who have grown up with the show as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this series, and I also want to mention that once I finish all of my individual episode reviews of Season 2 on my Tumblr account, I will make another video essay series just like this one for Season 2. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments here, and I will check in with you all next time. Bye!